Adrienne lost her husband to cancer. They shared a life together that included a call-in television show and great fishing trips. Adrienne describes how she fills the hole after losing her life partner. Her story is an inspiration of strength, hope, and information that will be important for viewers to see and hear who have lost a loved one. Her focus on community service is key.
Steve was an amazingly bright, funny human being who had a feel for entertainment and comedy. He did cable television shows. There was no one quite like Steve.
I want to let you know that if you have any problems whatsoever, please be sure not to bring them to me. Go right home for cash.
He was a Brooklyn-born boy. He loved music, loved to sing. I think he probably would have loved to have been a professional singer. There were times he would do his own show and sing along with Tennessee Ernie Ford because he loved that deep, rich voice. He was, when he was on camera, he was very full of life. He was an only child for 11 years, and he was used to being the child that was catered to.
You believe this? It's 8 months. We're talking
Is it?
and asking, and we got him. How did we get you here?
I don't know, but it's nice to be here. I've been watching you and listening to you, and I enjoy it, and I want to come down and hang out with you.
Well, this is fantastic.
Okay.
He had nothing when we met, and we ended up having a wonderful life. He just took phone calls from all the crazy people that were out there.
A phone-in
Phone in,
TV show.
talk about anything.
And he would respond.
He would respond.
So he's a Renaissance man. He could talk about anything.
He could talk
understands.
about. I wouldn't ask him about art very much.
Oh.
He knew some things about art, but no opera, no ballet. I wouldn't ask him any of that. But as far as street smarts, financial stuff, history, the news, anything.
Right.
Steve was a bickerer.
Bickerer.
There's a play called Falsettos. And one of the lyrics is, "Of all the lesser passions, I like fighting best." I would say that was true. Steve needed to be right. He needed to win. He could hang up on anybody anytime he wanted to.
Right.
He had all the power of the finger, we called it.
Right.
You don't like it, you just hit the telephone and it's gone.
The fellow with the big ears in the balcony.
Has there been any famous alumni of this here school?
Hey, that's a very bright, very perceptive question. However, the answer to the question is no. But on the other hand, we've only had 9 graduates in the past 40 years, so we can't keep track of them all. That's just, the way it goes.
I was a natural-born caregiver. I had spent a lot of time alone. I would go to the movies alone. I would go to brunch alone. Steve wanted to sleep through the weekend. He could sleep through the weekend, but I wasn't going to. So when he was ill and didn't need me with him, I would go and do things by myself.
Right.
Occasionally we would do things together, but where I drew my strength from was just intestinal fortitude for a long time. And then the time came where I said, I can't do this anymore, I need help, Steve. But before I actually asked for help, of course, I had learned how to use the internet for finding physicians and finding chat rooms and bulletin boards and discussion boards, everything. The wellness community. And the wellness community had assigned chat rooms. And you could be a patient, a caregiver, a child, anyone that was affected by cancer was welcome at that site and had access to an assigned chat. I was very lucky that I was provided for. I had Steve's business to run. I had ideas for my own future as far as business was concerned. I had a lot of people supporting me, but as always, eventually they're not there for you every day, every other day. You know, your life starts to take on a whole new direction. And I picked up doing Steve's show. That kept things a little bit normal. It also was a place for me to be every Thursday night. I had wanted a dog for a very long time. Steve kept saying, not now, not now. And I finally decided, yes, I do want a dog. A dog will get me up in the morning to walk it, and I'll be responsible for it. And good companionship and all the wonderful things that a dog can do, except that my dog won't go on the street, so I can sleep as late as I want. She's a city dog. She just stays in the house.
Did you get the dog right away? Or?
I waited 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
I waited 4 weeks until I started looking, and then I finally went to one of Steve's old friends who was a breeder in California and said, find me somebody on the East Coast who has, you know, a litter.
So you had the show and you had the dog.
I had the show, I had the dog, and I had ideas.
Tell me.
And I wanted to take the television studio and change it and put in new cameras and get more business in here. I wanted to come up with new ideas for shows for myself. I'm starting a website for caregivers, which will be a social network for caregivers, because I want caregivers from absolutely every walk of life, whether they're parents, young parents with young children, parents who have older children who are getting sick, people who thought they were in an empty nest that are all of a sudden taking care of their sick child who's a single person, any disease, just a place to go to share.
Right.
Because I found that sharing was what helped me get through it. Right. Getting through the grief, it's a process. Alone time is important to me. Writing a lot. I write a lot. Having a goal and a business that are both very much still involved with my late husband keep me going.
Right.
I want to be of service,
Right.
and that keeps me going.
Right.
Caregiving provides a codependency that can feel good while you're doing it at times.
Right.
What it leaves you with is a huge hole. Right. And you can fill that hole a lot of different ways. I would like other people to continue to share in every which way, that it'll make them feel better, and other people will draw from their strength. Really, that's the main message, is sharing leads to strength.